All right. I'm Dr. Oteng, and this is my wonderful co-host, Gifty Oteng. Come on, give it up. I almost froze right there.
Hello, everyone. We are thrilled to have you with us today. In this episode, we will dive into a topic that's crucial for millions of people worldwide: how to manage and lower high blood pressure through diet.
That's right, Gifty. Hypertension, often known as the silent killer, affects nearly 1.3 billion people globally.
Billion.
Billion with the B. It is significant. It significantly increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, and other severe health issues. But the good news is that you can take control of your blood pressure with your dietary choices. And that's exactly what we are going to be doing today, talking about it.
Absolutely. Today, we are going to share the ultimate guide to a hypertension friendly diet. We will cover everything from the best foods to include in your meals, the powerful DASH diet, to practical tips for reducing sodium intake. Our goal is to empower you with the knowledge and tools to take charge of your health.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, whether you are looking to have healthy recipes, maybe understand the nutrients essential for blood pressure control, or simply want to make better food choices, stay tuned. This episode is packed with valuable information that can help you lower your blood pressure naturally. And that's what we are here to talk about today.
Yes, so don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will kick off with an overview of hypertension and why it's so dangerous. When Then we will dive into the delicious and nutritious foods that can help you manage your blood pressure naturally.
All right, so with that being said, we'll be right back. All right, so we are back and welcome back. So remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss any episode. Also, share the video with your on your social platforms with your folks, friends, and family who may also benefit. And once you go through that, then you know you have invited people who are also going to benefit. So, with that being said, let's go on to the next thing. That is what we are going to be doing right now. And to sound a word of caution, we want to make sure that you don't take anything here we are going to say as just all you need to control your blood pressure. So the information here is not to replace your doctor's directions. Follow your treatment. Whatever it is that you have been prescribed, whether it's medication, take your medications. If it is, anything at all that your doctor has told you, we want you to continue to follow it. And this information is supplemental to everything that you are supposed to be doing with your treatment. So don't stop taking your medication if you're already on medications and say that, oh, they told us what kind of foods to eat, so I'm stopping my medicine. No, you got to still take your medicines. And if perchance these changes help your blood pressure to go down some to the extent that your doctor thinks you should be off your medications, then your doctor themselves will tell you to stop. But don't stop it because of the new information that we are going to share. And I can tell you that it's pretty good, but still keep taking it.
Yeah. So how good it is that you go to your doctor's office and your doctor will be like, wow, your levels are on point. What have you been doing? So maybe you can bring us in and say, oh, I've been watching this show that is encouraging me to change my diet and change things around. And maybe the doctor may decide to lower your dose, right? Or add or subtract some of your medication so that your management will be easier for you. The hard thing is like you go to the doctor's office and the doctor is wondering what is going on because they seems not to be able to control your level. So they will be like, are you sure you're taking your medication? Are you sure you're doing it right and all that? that become a little worrisome to your doctor. But if you change your diet, as we are about to share with you, and you go to the doctor's office and everything is on point, then you can say that, oh, I'm doing something right and my levels are being managed easily. So now let's go through the outline of our show today. First, we will briefly touch on high blood pressure dangers.
And
right?
also, yeah. So after that, what we are going to also do is to talk about the essential. Actually, before that, we're going to talk about some foods that lower your blood pressure naturally.
Then we continue with essential nutrients for blood pressure control.
And then after that, we also talk about some of the foods to avoid. So this is a packed show, but suffice to say that stay throughout.
And if you have any comments, any questions, any contribution, don't hesitate. You can put your question on the chat and we can all discuss together. If you watch the show after it not being live, just so put your comments down or your concerns down and we'll be happy to get back to you.
Definitely, that's something where we put your seatbelts on now and let's move straight to our discussion. And hopefully, you have invited somebody on the stream, or you have shared the stream, or whenever you're watching, hopefully, you have actually shared it. So, with that being said, we're going to start off with our slides and let me see what we got next. So, the first thing is that we're talking about the dangers. So the dangers of hypertension. The first thing that we're going to talk about is hypertension causes stroke and aneurysms. And by stroke and aneurysms, we're not going to spend too much time, but suffice to say that high blood pressure can cause blood vessels in the brain to burst or become blocked. And that leads to what we call stroke, whether it is a ischemic stroke or hemorrhagic stroke. And apart from that, high blood pressure can also cause or lead to aneurysm formation, which is a prolonged blood pressure can cause your blood vessels to weaken, whether it is around the heart or even in the brain. Your blood vessels can weaken and then bulge out, kind of like somebody getting hernia, right? So it's like a hernia, but on the blood vessel, because of prolonged hypertension or high blood pressure. And when that forms, the life-threatening thing that can lead to is when it ruptures, kind of like rupturing in your brain. You can just drop dead. In fact, I know of somebody from our church years ago who had a severe case of aneurysm, and that was very, very bad. And the good thing is that they did not die, but it affected the function so much that even up to today, they have not recovered completely from what they used to be like. And so hypertension can be dangerous in that regard. You want to talk about some of that?
Yeah, so hypertension can also damage the blood vessels in the kidneys, leading to chronic kidney disease or kidney failure.
My goodness, that is another tough thing. And those of you who watched us recently, we talked about kidney disease and vitamins that can help. If you don't take care of your blood pressure, you can end up with chronic kidney problems. So
That's the
this is the kidney disease we mentioned. Hypertension, can lead to blindness. So it is.
Next slide.
Yeah. So it is. The way it happens is it may not be abrupt unless it's a huge rise in one time. But what can happen is, your pressure in the eye can also rise, and then you start getting vision problems, which slowly can lead to blindness. So we have people with just hypertension in their eyes, or what we call glaucoma. That is there. But overall hypertension, which is not treated, can eventually lead to blindness because the tiny vessels in your eye can burst. And if it bursts and it's not repairable, that's blindness right there. So that is definitely something that we have to be watchful of. And I think there's more.
Yeah.
Right?
So hypertension can also cause erectile dysfunction
Oh
in
my
men.
goodness.
And not only in men, it can also reduce sexual desire or arousal in women.
Man, I thought it was only in men. Man, that is tough. We always think it's just men, but I mean, I have known this because I actually have a video on there. But I'm happy to bring it back to you if you didn't know that if you're a woman and you think it's only your husband that can have erectile dysfunction because they are hypertensive, newsflash, you can also have your own sexual dysfunction, which Gifty said is decreased arousal, decreased desire. So your man
Sexual
wants it,
desire.
yeah, your man wants that, but you don't want it because you are hypertensive, because your hypertension has damaged all the vessels down there, and you don't even feel any desire for sexual. Come on, man. You don't feel anything down there.
So there are more, but for the sake of time, we will move on to the main reason for the show: foods that lower blood pressure naturally.
Oh, come on, man. That's what we are going to talk about. Foods that lower blood pressure naturally. We chose about 5 foods, just so we don't go too detailed. If you want to grab a piece of pen and paper and just begin to write, it will do you good. If you think you can memorize, that's fine. Or you can just make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you're on TikTok, make sure that you are also, checking us out on YouTube at the same name that you see us at, and subscribe so you can see more or replay them when you have to, because it's being streamed live and it's going to be on the channel. So yes, the first food that we want to talk about is leafy greens. Come on, man, leafy greens. Leafy greens for you. Now that we have examples, and examples are spinach, kale, and a new one that I've added, because some of the people that watch don't have access to spinach. So if you don't have access to spinach, you probably have access to kale. If you don't have access to kale, you probably have access to contomere. Come on, man. And if you don't have access to contomere, you probably have access to Swiss chard. And you have access to all of them, or even better. And the reason why this food or this food group is chosen is that they are rich in potassium. Spinach and all those we have mentioned, they are rich in potassium. As a matter of fact, they are also rich in nitrates, in particular spinach. And that helps your kidneys eliminate more sodium through the urine. As if you remember on our channel, we've talked about one of the ways that hypertension happens is that you hold on to so much sodium, and when you hold on to so much sodium, your body has to hold on to water. And if you have too much water, your pressure actually goes up because you have too much blood volume, right? And so if you are eating these foods, which we are calling spinach, kale, and all those greens, then what happens is, because they have high potassium levels, you are potentially going to excrete more of the potassium, or more of the sodium, which could cause blood pressure to go up. And so it's basically you are exchanging your sodium for potassium. And one food that we can actually add to it is also avocados. Same here, avocados are also rich in potassium. So if you want to have a diet that is consistent with somebody who wants to lower their blood pressure, make sure that you include all these food groups into it. Man, that is what we are talking about. And the process, as I think I've already said it all, right? Unless you have anything else
So
to.
with the greens, I think there shouldn't be a day that you wouldn't consume greens, right? So maybe you can add it. You can add the first one you mentioned. What did
Spinach.
The spinach with your smoothie, or you can do your contemporary stew for the day, or you can cut greens on the side of your meal. So if it's not with lunch, it's with dinner. If you can do twice a day, even better. So try and do it in such a way that you have greens in the house, leafy green in the house every day. Is part of the menu. Is part of what you eat, which is very important. So be conscious, be intentional
I like that.
about that.
If you don't be intentional, it will not come.
Yeah.
Greens will not themselves appear in your home or in your fridge. You got to basically plan to buy them and include them and say that, I got to make sure this. There are certain populations here in the US, I'm going to say, I'm not going to mention, who almost always, I don't know whether it's because of the education level or because they know more about health, it's every time they eat, they add greens.
And it's part of their menu.
It's part of their menu. And yet another group which does not want green, it's like green is an abomination. which is not good.
It take away the taste of food.
That's what some people say. And the reason, the reason is why is because they don't prepare it to make it tasty enough. Because if, as I always say, if you want to make it taste good, you can make it taste good. Like the salad that I always get when we go to the restaurant, strawberry pecan salad. Oh, come on, man! I love that salad because I have a sweet tongue. If I get my pecans and my strawberry in the green, a bowl of green, no matter how bitter the leaves are, the strawberry will mask the bitter green and make me still feel some goodness on my tongue. So it depends on how you prepare it. If you want to taste it good, you can taste it good, but you have to consciously add them to make it, work. So let's go on, unless you have something else to say.
Yeah, and sometimes too, I think some of us, the way that we don't like the taste of the green, we tend to cook it. And we may not cook it as well, or we cook it in such a way that some of the nutrients are lost. We overcook it. So just try and see where you can get it right, incorporate greens in your meals. Okay, so the second thing that we want to talk about is berries and fruits. Berries, particularly blueberries and strawberries, are high in flavonoids. These natural compounds have been shown to improve the function of blood vessels. It also reduces inflammation and decrease the production of angiotensin, a hormone that can increase blood pressure. So by consuming these berries, you tend to reduce inflammation and reduce a hormone in your body that tend to increase blood pressure.
Oh, come on, man. That's what's up. You are eating berries. Another sweet thing that I call something like candy. This is a natural health candy. This is what I call the M&Ms, of health. The mixture of the colors there. You are eating and getting some sweet goodness. And yet, as Gipti said, you are also decreasing the levels of a bad hormone called angiotensin 2. And our background, we know angiotensin 2. Actually, we take medications for angiotensin 2 to be inhibited. Those of you who take blood pressure medications, you may know, but we don't want to sidetrack so much. So you're taking medicines to decrease angiotensin 2 enzyme, which increases your blood pressure. When you can eat to have the same effect from medicine. So even if you are taking the medicine and it's not working properly, if you add these berries, you are potentially going to make the medicine even work better, because naturally you are decreasing the levels of that bad hormone that increases your blood pressure. So berries, next time you see berries on the floor of the supermarket, don't just pass by. Let berries know that they're important in your health.
Don't pass by.
Yeah, and I think we should mention what kind of berries we're talking about here.
I think we mentioned it. Blueberries.
We mentioned blueberries.
Strawberries. Raspberries. All the berries around.
All the berries.
Yeah, so how do you incorporate that? I think we mentioned you using the greens in your smoothie. You can also include the strawberries in your smoothie. You can blend with it. Sometimes in the hot season, you can blend and freeze these berries, and it can be like an ice cream. So you just put it in the cube and you freeze it. Then when you are thirsty or you want something sweet, you can take that, and that's the healthiest form of food that you can get. In so doing, you are helping your blood pressure to be controlled.
Oh, come on, man. You are helping yourself. The other thing that I should add in terms of if you are not a fan of berries, we can also tell you that some fruits actually also do the same job. The citrus fruits such as oranges, lime, and all those, we colorful fruits, they can also help. But apples in particular are also noted to have the same flavonoids that we Gifty mentioned in the berries. So if you are an apple eater, I prefer apples a lot, especially when you want to break a fast. I'm not talking about you're just, like you are really hungry and there's nothing around. You may not have access to berries, but if you have a green apple, just wash it up and chew it up. If it's not green, it's even okay. It's better than to grab a chocolate chip cookie. Oh, come on.
Or chips.
It is definitely better than that. And you are doing your body a lot of good. The other fruit that I can also add on that is bananas. Bananas too. Bananas are also found to have a lot of potassium.
Potassium.
And so if you don't like these berries, or you don't have access to them, depending on where you're watching this from, maybe you don't even see these blueberries and you know the berries we're talking about, but you have lots of bananas and apples and oranges, you could do the same. The only caveat is that if you are diabetic, you got to be careful how many bananas or how much bananas you eat because of the sugar content. The other thing is if you already have a kidney issue going on, you may not necessarily need to eat bananas because of the potassium levels. Your kidney may not be able to process it. And so you got to be careful in that regard. But if you are on point, nothing wrong with your kidneys, you don't have diabetes, you can definitely substitute these berries for that, for those other fruits. And those are going to help with your blood pressure, definitely.
Yeah. So some places we don't have the strawberries, like you're saying. What about mango? You know,
Mango is good unless unless it's a too
sweetness.
sweet. Then you
Yeah.
have to be careful with
We have
that.
the green ones too. You know, we have pineapples.
Yeah,
We have other kinds of fruits that you can add to. Some people just are not conscious about including stuff like that in their daily menu. You know, the daily menu, the big ones is like a big meal, lunchtime, maybe rice and stew, and dinner is fufu and soup, and that's it for the day. So some people can go throughout a week without consuming no grains, like green on the side,
no
or
fruits
intention, no fruits
all day.
all day,
Oh, come on,
or
man.
maybe all week, you know, because they just want the real thing, the big size, you know, portions, like the big bowl of rice. They just eat their full. They don't have any room to add on to like fruits or greens or anything like that.
So they got to create a room. They got to eat less so that they can have room, right?
But it's like that the setup or whatever happens in the home is like that. You know, you go out the whole day, you come home, mom has prepared food, and like yours is ready. You know, you just sit down, consume the whole thing, and you're done for the day. You know, so what about trying to include fruits as part of the menu for the day and include greens as part of the menu for the day? So, like, if you're not intentional, you won't even think about it because that's not part of what you are used to. So, because of the way that you've been brought up, we've been brought up differently. You know, it's like one big meal for the day and that's it for everybody. So you have to be conscious. Now that maybe you are in a different place, you have access to other things that you can incorporate in your diet. You take some out and you add the healthy ones.
Oh, come
in
on,
there
man.
to help.
You add the healthy ones as you take out the bad ones. We are learning. Now let's move on to the next one. And the next one, I think the next one is berries. Oh, no. Oatmeal. Oats. We just finished berries.
Grains, yeah.
The grains and oats. Now, oats contain a type of soluble fiber called beta glucan, which has been found to reduce both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. That is, just eating them by themselves, studies have shown that they are actually helping to reduce your blood pressure, both the top number and the bottom number. And this fiber helps to lower cholesterol levels too. So on top of reducing your blood pressure, oats have also been proven to reduce your cholesterol levels, which can prevent a buildup of plaques in your arteries and then improve blood flow. So if cholesterol is building up in your arteries, you are going to have narrow arteries, and that will impede blood flow or prevent the smooth flow of blood. And when that happens, all that's going to happen is your heart have to beat harder, and then it's what we call hypertension, right? And so if you eat oats, you are getting multiple benefits, especially including lowering your blood pressure. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah,
to
and the
add.
fiber in there, right, bind with the cholesterol
Yes,
and
that's how
lower
they
your
reduce it.
cholesterol too.
And then a secondary benefits, you also get regular. If you are known to be constipated, oh come on, man, you also get regular. So you are getting multiple benefits for just eating oats, no matter how you eat it, whether it is cooked one, whether it is in the cereal that you eat. You know, they actually pre-package them into chewable ones too.
Yes.
You know, just make sure that they don't put too much sodium to preserve it. As long as you are eating it, in its natural state, you are definitely doing yourself a lot of good. So I don't know if you
that's
can.
good.
All right, so we can go
Move
to the
on.
next.
Yeah. So the next food that we want to talk about is beetroot.
Oh, come on, man, beetroots.
I love the color of it. It's so fresh and
This,
so
yeah.
red. Yeah. So beetroot is rich in nitrates, which are converted into nitric oxide. I think you mentioned the nitric oxide earlier in the body. So nitric oxide helps to relax and widen blood vessels, improving blood flow and lowering blood pressure.
Oh, come on, man, that's beetroot for you. This is huge. Now, it comes in other, you don't really see it as much. So what we are doing is, I'm showing two pictures. This is one that is bought on the supermarket floor. If you buy it on a supermarket floor, it will look this way. Now, if you bought it already cut and washed, then you will see it in this way, this other way. So you may not be able to tell how it looks. That's why I want to show you both pictures. Now, this one definitely is identifiable. You can tell
See
how
it.
it looks. So when you go on shopping next time, even if you can recognize, ask the supermarket people, where are your beetroots?
Beetroot.
And then make sure that you grab some, because they are really healthy. As Gifty said, they are full of a lot of nitrates.
Nitrates.
And nitrates, apart from lowering, widening your
Blood
blood
vessels.
vessels so your pressure drops. If you are a guy with, erectile dysfunction, you also need nitrates. All these, erectile dysfunction medications such as Viagra and the rest, they work to increase your nitric oxide levels.
Right.
And this is exactly what beetroot is doing. So if you are somebody who eats beets or beetroots, whether in a smoothie, whether in a stew, they can cut it up and put it on a salad.
Right.
They can make a smoothie. They can make stew.
They can get
with it.
juice
They
out
can
of
make
it. They can juice it.
Juice it up too. Anyhow you can include it, you are increasing the nitrates, which is going to lower your blood pressure and also increase action down there. Oh, come on, man. Again, two benefits for the price of one. But you got to be consistent with it. And if you can have access to beetroot because of where you live, get spinach or contomere. They will do the same thing. They also have nitrate. Come on, man. My goodness. That is what is going to happen there. So now, with that being said, I think we can move on, right?
Yes.
Unless you have
Yeah,
anything
go ahead.
else. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is garlic. Oh, come on, man. Most people know about garlic. Garlic contains another compound which we call allicin. Now, this compound has been shown also by studies to increase the production of nitric oxide. Again, nitric oxide. And also reduce blood pressure. Of course, if you produce or increase nitric oxide, you are definitely going to widen your blood vessels and your pressure will come down. It also helps to relax blood vessels. That's exactly what I'm getting at, and improve circulation, and has been known to help with mild thinning properties. Mild blood vessel has been shown to help in blood thinning properties.
It thins the blood, right?
Yes, I know how to make it sound better. So, if you are somebody who is prone to blood clots, being in this area or eating these can also help you thin your blood somewhat. It may not be clinically significant. In other
Right.
words, it may not be able to replace your medications to thin your blood. But if you eat more of this, you have a better option. You have a better chance of not clotting. Perchance, if your medication is not working, because you are eating more of what we call this
Garlic, right?
garlic. So definitely make sure that you include it in your diet because of that product compound that we call allicin in there. And of course, apart from all those two, it also reduces your blood pressure.
Right.
Now, as we said in the beginning, some people, in my practice, some people have come to me and said that, oh, I just want, spinach. And they will say that the reason I want spinach is because my pressure is high. And we want to tell you that if your pressure is high, I'm sorry, garlic. I want garlic pills.
Oh, garlic pills.
Yes.
Yeah.
They say I want garlic pills. And the reason I want garlic pills is that my pressure is high. If your pressure is high, you can take garlic pills if you can't eat it. But I want to tell you that it will not reduce it enough for you to be safe. So you still have to see your doctor. But when we're talking about eating well to ensure that you get some benefit in blood pressure lowering. For example, you're on a medication for blood pressure, but it's still high. Maybe you should add some garlic to it,
Right.
to your diet. Or your pressure is mildly elevated. You are not completely high yet, but the doctor says that you could benefit from exercise and eating right. Then eating right involves adding garlic.
Garlic.
And so that is where we're talking about what we're talking. We don't want people to stop your medication and say, oh, garlic is it. No, that may not be enough. The tops that it could do is potentially like 10 points down. And if your pressure is 160 and you reduce by 10, you are still high. And so definitely take it or eat it in conjunction with other things. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, the one that we put it in soup, what do you call it? The one that when we are cooking, we add it, you know,
Maggie?
no.
You know I don't cook. Come on, man. Why are you putting me on the spot?
Like, you know, oh, it's very popular. Nowadays, people will cook it, boil it, and drink the juice.
Oh, Percocet?
Percocet.
Yes.
Yeah. So that can be another one too. You know, just like the garlic, people would think that, oh, my blood pressure is low. So I'm just going to take the garlic because I don't trust the medication. The medication comes with a lot of side effects. So I'm going to get away with garlic, right? So we sell tablet form of garlic. And people just want to depend only on that. So, like you were saying, you don't want to just throw everything away and take just a supplement. It's supposed to be a supplement to supplement what you are already taking, especially if it's not well controlled. You have to make sure that you don't substitute it or you don't throw away what you think that is helping. So, like people coming to you for garlic, I think some people have also asked questions about Percocet. That is very good. What do we do? So you can add it to your cooking. That will help lower your blood pressure, but it's not going to substitute what the doctor has recommended.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And I think we have, let me see here. Some
Marie.
somebody has some comment very long. I want to make sure that I understand it well before I put it on because I don't want people to just get anything.
I was cured prostate.
All right. So I'm not going to be able to put that on the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, you probably saw that comment, but I'm not going to share it just because there's a link that is attached, and I don't know where that link sends people. It's going to send people to. So I am not going to. But Marie, I see your
Point, yeah.
I see your point. If you want to just shorten it and tell us exactly what you want to tell us, I would put it on. But I don't want to share a link when I haven't visited that link. So I'm sorry. But Marie, I thank you for your point. And I'm still hoping that other people will either give us a thumbs up or also better yet, bring their comments and their questions on the board. Come on, man. All right. So
Okay.
we just finished about
The garlic, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so we can we
Move
go
on.
forward?
Yeah. So
All
I think
right.
she was trying to talk about herbs and other medication that can also help, just like me bringing up the Percocet and all the others.
Oh, and actually, before you go on the Percocet, I also have something to say on the Percocet. Now, if you are watching and you don't know what Percocet is, you can Google it. It's all over the internet, but it's mostly common in the West African diet, especially for mothers who are trying to get breast milk. That's where I saw them use it a lot. But studies have found that it also lowers your blood pressure. But the only thing is, if you overdo it, you can actually drop down. Syncope, your pressure can actually go
Drop.
to the point where you die. So you have to make sure that you don't overdo it. You can just put it in your soup, but to cook only the Percocet and then drink all the water from it, you may reduce your pressure too much to unsafe levels. But if you add it to your soup, it will be diluted enough that it will not be detrimental to your health. So that's what I wanted to add. Because some people will hear that and then they will begin to buy it and drink it, and it can be dangerous if you don't take care. So you have to do it small amounts and ensure that you do not get yourself in trouble. All right. So with that being said, I think we can go on to, let me see if we can go on to our slide. The next one, the next one is to share, like, and
Subscribe.
subscribe. That is the next thing that we wanted to share, to show you, is to share, like, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, it is time. This is the time. You've watched us all the way to this point. Do us the honor and subscribe and hit the bell button so that when we go live, you will see. If you're on Facebook, hit the follow. You're on TikTok, hit the follow button. You are on LinkedIn, hit the follow so that we will roll together. All right, so we can move on.
So now let's touch on foods to avoid quickly. So the first one is saturated and trans fats.
Oh my goodness.
Saturated and trans fats. So saturated fats found in red meat and animal fat, are known as trans fat. So you want to try and avoid such foods. We can also find these trans fats in pastries, which can lead to the formation of plaques in your arteries, now which will narrow the blood vessels and can cause your blood pressure to increase. So the first food that we want to avoid is saturated fats and trans fat. And as we all know, if you've been watching our show, we try to encourage you as much as possible. As much as you love red meat, if you can avoid it, that will go a long way. The reason being that it has this trans fat.
You have the saturated fats.
Yes, which can narrow the blood vessels. It's not only cholesterol. It narrows the blood vessels with the plaques and the cholesterol buildup that will cause your blood pressure to increase, because now the tube is reduced, it's narrowed. So the blood pressure have to force itself through it. And by forcing itself through it, it increases the pressure. And that can cause your blood pressure not to be controlled. So if you can stay away from it, that will go a long way.
My goodness. The meat eaters, the fatty streaks in this. Look at that. I think this is beef.
It looks so nice.
It looks good. But that is how the devil tempts. He brings Delilah. They look so good. You want to do that stuff. Same here. That meat looks good. But you can see the white thing running through. Those are the fats. And you don't want to be a friend of those, especially if you want to avoid high blood pressure. If you're already diagnosed with high blood pressure, or if you have a family history of high blood pressure, hypertension, make sure you avoid these as much as possible. Gifty says that red meat, if you have to, some people cannot stay away, and some people say that, but it's got some B vitamins, that and
B12,
some and 12, and some proteins that I need. Do it once a month if you have to, and even that, do the lean meat
protein.
Instead of doing these fatty streaks. This meat that has all these fats in there.
The fat makes it tasty though.
Oh, come on, man. You can do that. You can prepare it in such a way with a lean meat that it doesn't take it. I mean, replace it with chicken. If you are a meat eater, replace it with white meat like chicken, turkey, and all those other good stuff. The fish, and still have your protein. But avoid the fatty streaks in your meat, and avoid red meat at all costs if you can. And the other thing is the trans fat that she mentioned. We have it a lot in pastries. I like my pie. Oh, come on, man, meat pie. That's the only pastry that gets me, is pie. And when the pie is rich, it is rich because it's got a lot of the butter or the margarine, and those contain the trans fats. So much as pastries are good, the cakes, the chips, all those things contain these trans fats, and those ultimately increase your blood pressure. So if you are diagnosed, or you're not yet diagnosed, you have a family history, or you don't even have a family history, but the age is heading up. You're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Oh, come on, man, don't eat them. Make sure that you do not bother yourself with those, because they can lead to high blood pressure and a lot of other problems. But since you are on blood pressure, That's what we would say.
Yeah, so people really complain about this. Like in your 20s and the 30s, you don't have enough money, much money to really indulge in foods like this, right? So at the age of 50, 60, that's when you are settled, maybe your kids have grown, you have extra money on you. And that's the time that you can afford such foods. And now that's the time that we are telling you that to we are telling you to avoid
Oh,
such foods.
it's
How
sad.
sad is
It's
that?
sad. Life is sad. It's sad. But the good thing is that you can still eat some tasty delicacies. I've seen some foods, little bowl of something very
Tiny.
tiny, but the decoration alone should make you feel like you have made it
You've
in
made
life.
it in life.
You don't need to eat a lot. With the flowers on top of it,
Yeah, on the side.
on the
Yeah.
side, it may be some white meat, some chicken, but made so well. Enjoy it. Don't feel bad that now that the money is coming. And as a matter of fact, it's the truth. Especially those of us who grew up poor. You made life through you struggled, and then now that you have made a career, now that you can actually buy food, and now
Really
people are
enjoy it.
saying, and I and my wife are saying, don't eat that. Oh, come on, man. You say don't eat it. It's disheartening. It happens to us too. But the point is, would you eat it quickly and go, sick, have a stroke and enjoy less of your life, or eat, somewhat not so, bad and still hang around for a long time, see the grandkids and even if you pass while you're healthy, not being a burden
The
to somebody.
burden.
Live long to chop your money,
Yes.
rather than to eat, all these bad stuff and die quick because you feel like you've made it in life. In some cultures, people with pot belly are deemed the rich people, and
No
when they are
anymore.
coming,
No anymore.
you sure
Nobody
not
believe
anymore?
that
I hope
anymore.
so. I hope so. But
Used to be,
it
but
used
not
to be.
anymore. People are getting
Are you sure?
enlightened.
I put it
Yes.
on the chat if you are watching even now or later, and you think people with pot belly now are no more considered rich, they are poor. Because in the past, at least as I know, if you had a big stomach, you were called rich because you could afford food. That's why you eat so much and your stomach is big. Which is, if Gifty is right, then it's better than that we don't consider such people as rich anymore. Because in this country, rich people are the ones that carry themselves
Skinny.
well, skinny, well to do. They run, they have time to go on a jog, play golf, and be healthy. But in other places, rich people barely can walk. Even they don't drive themselves.
Yep.
People have to drive them. You are poor in disguise. So come on, man. You are poor in disguise. So yeah, definitely, we have to make sure that we do not eat those things. Now, the other food to avoid is sugars. Oh, come on, man. Sugars. Sugars. When you drink soda, which we are showing, or minerals, some people call it,
Minerals.
Coke, Fanta, whatever brand it is, Sprite, or whatever name you have it, Campico, whatever, Campico, whatever,
Tampico.
Tampico, whatever drink it is with sugar added, all you are doing is you are increasing your body's ability to create more triglycerides. The triglycerides is kind of like a fat, which ultimately increases your belly fat. Your stomach protrudes. That is where the rich people getting big stomach come from. Excess fat converted to triglycerides and then depositing on around your waist. So you get pot belly. And when that happens, not only is your blood sugar going to go up, your blood pressure is also going to go up. Your blood sugar will go up, diabetes coming, and then also your blood pressure is going to go up. So if you are very conscious of eating right to avoid high blood pressures and of course, diabetes, then avoid these sugary foods. Now, you may say that once a while, okay, but if you can completely avoid it, and even though we are showing this person who is getting some Coke or Fanta or whatever it is, mineral, it's not only that source. We have people eating, coffee, made with a lot of sugar. People drinking coffee like that, or tea with a lot of sugar. People eating donuts, sugar. Any form of sugar, added sugar that you take is going to increase your blood pressure. And there is a study actually out there that also suggests that, you know, apart from building those triglycerides and belly fat and ultimately increasing your blood pressure, sugar is also converted eventually to what we call uric acid. And uric acid has been implicated in ultimately leading to hypertension itself. So apart from you getting big, you can say that, well, I drink it, but I'm not fat. You still can get high blood pressure because there's another way, another route that sugar can convert itself into, a potential thing that leads to hypertension. So let sugar be your number one enemy. If you don't take anything from this stream, this show, avoid sugar, avoid trans fats, avoid saturated fats, and then at least try, if you can eat all those good stuff, you are going to do something good. I think that is about the most that I think time will allow. I'm not sure if there's anything else. You have anything to?
Yes, so it's very interesting because I've heard some people say that, oh, I'm not diabetic. The only problem I have or family history is blood pressure. So they will go to the extent of consuming sugar, to the point that it's not healthy, but they claim that they are not diabetics. So it's okay. But today we are learning that if you consume a high amount of sugar and sugary drinks, you will end up ultimately increasing your blood pressure. So if your blood pressure is not controlled, and you are taking your medication, you have to check how much sugar you consume, because taking in a lot of sugars will definitely ultimately increase your blood pressure. It's not just for those with diabetes. People with high blood pressure also have to avoid high content of sugary foods and sugary drinks.
Oh, come on, man. That's what's up. And then the last thing that I'm going to, and then we close off, is salt. We think it's obvious. We didn't even add to our list. But suffice to say that some people may not know that eating a lot of salt also can lead to blood pressure increases. As I hinted on earlier in the presentation, we said that if you have so much sodium, your body has to hold on to water and your blood volume increases. When the volume of your blood has increased, there's a high pressure there because your arteries, the blood vessels are not expanding as a result, they are fixed. And if you have too much water on board, because you are eating too much salt, then you're also going to have high blood pressure. That is why most people who are diagnosed with high blood pressure, the first thing they are told by the doctors is that cut back on salt. It's not just because they don't want you to taste your food. Come on, man.
It doesn't taste good without salt.
Yeah, it's because the doctors know that if you cut the salt, the water that you're holding on to will reduce and your pressure will naturally come down. So, three things: avoid sugar, avoid salt, and avoid all those saturated fats and trans fats, and you will be on point. That's very, very important that we add that to it. I don't know if you have anything else.
So, as you avoid those three foods that we've mentioned, you also have to include. So, we've talked about things to include in your diet and things to avoid. So, things to include, we mentioned leafy greens, right? We mentioned berries, strawberries, blueberries, apple, like fruits in general. And if you're diabetic, you have to watch the kind of fruits that you consume. And we also mentioned oats, right? And we mentioned beetroots and garlic. So those are the foods that you want to include in your diet. And the ones that you mentioned earlier are the ones you want to avoid. So that overall, your blood pressure will be well controlled. If you've already been diagnosed with blood pressure, you are able to control it. It's not the blood pressure controlling your life.
My goodness, it's not a blood pressure controlling your life. And again, as we said earlier, remember, this is complementary to your treatment guidelines prescribed by your provider or your doctor. Whatever your doctor told you to do it in addition to this. Do not replace your treatment with just what you have watched, because it's come together as a complementary thing for you to lower your blood pressure. And next week, God willing, we are going to actually go on our other channel, which is the whole life channel, and we're going to talk about social issues. We probably could do something on well, I won't give you that hint. So stay put. If you have not subscribed, you have to subscribe on this channel and also on our social channel. We don't want to mix those social issues with health. But if you're on Facebook, you will see all shows there. If you're on TikTok, you see all shows. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to this channel for health and subscribe to the whole life channel also for social issues that are affecting our community. And so I think we have come to a very good point where we can potentially sign off, right? If you have any questions, and I don't see any other thing there, any other comments, if you put it on later, we might be able to see it. But suffice to say that it's been fun talking about this, and we are hoping that you have made the necessary changes. You have jotted down those foods, those 5 foods, and you're going to include them, like Gifty said, making it a point, making your mind to do it because they will not happen by chance. And with that being said, we can say, Beloved,
we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers.
God bless you.
Thank you for
Thanks
watching.
for watching.